Okay, so let's talk a little bit about LifeWave. So, looking vibrant, feeling great, enjoying life as we age. And you're going to hear a little bit about me here in a moment as well too. But I think most people would probably say, yes, these are some of their goals. We all know we're going to age. We want to age gracefully. I love what Dr. Stan says. I want to go out in my cowboy boots, not a diaper. Okay? So being able to enjoy life is key, no matter what age you are. And, oops, let's go back one. Hit the wrong little button with the admitting people at the top. So what if you could change the trajectory of aging? What if you could be a younger, more youthful you? Well, let's talk a little bit about some people. I'm sure we have people on here in their 30s. This is Allie. She lives a pretty healthy lifestyle. She likes to work out, travel. She loves to be able to enjoy life. But Allie's in her 30s and she's starting to notice she can't party all night. She's concerned about staying young and youthful and having that vitality. She's got some more pressure at her job, so a little bit more anxiety. Doesn't want to get into any medications or drugs. So think about this. We know when we're young, teenagers, right, we have boundless amounts of energy. Kids do. We know as we age, we have less and less of that energy because we have less and less of the cells, the master cells in our body we're going to be talking about, that this patch activates, that keep us young and youthful. And so these changes start to creep in. Sometimes it's metabolism, sometimes it's the aches and pains. Sometimes you walk into a room and you're like, why did I walk in that room? And you go back out and come back in the room. Those things start creeping in when you're in your 30s. This is me. It says late 40s. I just turned 50 a couple weeks ago, so not any more late 40s, but close. I live a healthy lifestyle. I love my family, teaching, travel. Those are my faves, right? Helping people. I feel amazing. I don't have any health issues. Maybe you don't have any health issues, right? I've always taken care of myself. I've always done all the things. All the tools in my toolbox. They've always been important to me. For those of you that know my daughter's story, that's how I found out about this technology. All the things we did with her for 15 years, I did for myself right along with her. It's important to take care of yourself. We've been talking a lot about self-care lately. And sometimes people think it's selfish to take care of yourself, but it's not. Because if you can't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to really take care of the people in your life that need you. And not only those people, but what about being able to help others? You know, I always talk about LifeWave being a stone that you drop in the pond, and that ripple effect goes out to people's lives that you're able to help and impact through using and sharing this technology. So, yeah, I've always been healthy, and that's important to me. This LifeWave, this X39, this tool in my toolbox has been the most powerful tool I have seen in my 20 plus years of holistic health and wellness. I have a whole lifetime, 50 years of being immersed in holistic types of things. I always say if you can't eat it or kill it or grow it, don't eat it, right? If you can't kill it or grow it, don't eat it. For me, that was how I grew up. Nutrition was foundation. My dad was a hunter, my mom was a gardener. So we had all of that at the table every single day. My great-grandmother had essential oils, she had herbs, she had tinctures. We had all the things. And we weren't what you call today your crunchy family per se, but we just didn't go to the doctor. We used holistic modalities if needed, chiropractic and things like that, but we always were focused on the foundation. So for me, prevention has always been key. Always been key to prevent those top 5 killers, right? Heart disease, diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia. Those things are things you want to stay away from. You want to stay away from medications. You know, it was interesting the other day I was talking to Trey. We were, in Punta Cana, And we had just walked away from someone that was sharing their personal struggles they're dealing with in their health. And we walked away and he goes, Mom, how does somebody get in that bad a situation? Like, how does their health get that bad? And I said, buddy, it's just lifestyle choices, diet, lack of information maybe, don't know these things exist. Your world is what my world is, and so these people maybe didn't know about these other things, these other alternatives or healthier choices to make. And he said, gosh, how are they going to remedy that? I said, well, they're going to stay consistent with patching. They're going to make some healthier lifestyle choices. And they'll get there. They'll get there. It's just going to take a little bit of time. So prevention is the key, right? Longevity is the priority. Always learning new ways to stay healthy. Vitality and overall wellness have always been something that are important to me. So if this is important to you, then this is a technology for you, right? I said I'm 50, but my biomarkers show that I'm 25. I don't know any 25-year-olds with Alzheimer's or dementia. I don't know any that are on a list of prescription medications this long, let alone, cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. So staying young and youthful on the inside prevents those things from happening in your life. That's important to me. Now, we've got Carla. She's in her mid-50s. How many of you on here are grandparents? Grandparents, great-grandparents, not me, I'm raising my hand for you all. Nope, we are nowhere near that. Rhonda says she is, Kathy, she is. We got some grandparents on here. So grandparents love being active too, right? They love their grandchildren. They want to be able to get down on the floor and do the things that they did with their kids when they were younger. But probably just like Carla, you're noticing some changes, a little bit more aches and pains, right? Harder to get up off that floor. You need a chair or something to grab onto. Maybe a little bit more fatigue than you used to have. You can't run around in the backyard like you used to with the kids. Maybe picking up a little extra weight. That metabolism has changed. Sleeping maybe not so fantastic. A little bit of back pain. Looking and feeling older. Well, her doctor has some answers. You're just getting older, part of it. We can run some tests. Let's look at some prescription drugs. And she's going, can I ever look young again? Then we have Ben. Ben is in his mid-60s. He loves being active. We got some runners on here. We got some people in here that like lots of pickleball players, right? I know you guys. I saw a lot of beach walkers in Punta Cana last week. So Ben's in his mid-60s. He loves being active. He looks forward to retirement and traveling. But Ben has noticed some changes. More aches and pains, decreased libido, not sleeping that well, knee pain, stamina is ebbing, and he's having a longer time to recover. So his concerns are heart disease, prescription medications, possible knee replacement, and he's thinking, am I going to be mobile in my retirement? Well, then a friend asked, have you ever heard about LifeWave? Have you ever heard about this patch? Has anyone ever told you about this wearable light technology? That's probably why you're here tonight, because someone asked you. So we are going to talk a little bit about these cells, these master stem cells that you have when you were born. You were born with an abundance of them. And as you age, they decline. Your ability, let me go back here because I want to get this box moved so you guys can see this picture. Fantastic. Your body's ability to heal itself declines as you age. These cells decline as you age. So you're born with an abundance, and I don't know if you guys know this or not, but by the time you're in your 30s, that's middle age. Did you know that? I'm sorry. But the average life expectancy right now is in the early 70s. And females on here, we're going to live just a little bit longer. But 30s, mid-30s is middle life. So that's where we're looking about half of these being active. And by the time you're in your 60s, for those of you that raised your hands and said you were grandparents and great-grandparents, you've got less than 10% and none beyond that. And so that means your body's ability to heal itself is declining. That's what we call the degeneration process. So we're going to talk about this technology and regeneration, helping your body to regenerate as you age. So what about stem cell injections? You know, with my daughter, we banked both my son and my daughter's cord blood when they were born. I knew the power of stem cells 23 years ago. I knew what they could do to help in the future, potentially with heart disease and diabetes and cancer and all the things that I mentioned already, because I did a lot of research into them. And so I banked both of my kids' cord blood. And then when my daughter went in the hospital at age 4, wasn't able to use that cord blood, unfortunately. They wouldn't let us do that. A lot of things happened and everything went wrong. A year later, we get out of the hospital and we start doing all types of holistic therapies, which included stem cell injections. And we spent over $100,000 on injections alone. Not to mention what we spent on hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy and other things that were supposed to help with stem cell production. Because stem cells are the holy grail of healing. They are. They really are. Stem cells are pluripotent. They have the ability to change into any cell, tissue, or organ that is needed. Your body has its own built-in ability to heal itself. But as you saw from that last slide, that ability declines as you age. And so we did see some results from the stem cell injections with our daughter. Not what we were hoping for, not for that amount that we spent, but we did see some changes. Thank God we had no side effects or anything happen that was bad with her. But stem cell injections, like I said, are expensive. She wasn't happy with those needles entering her body. Those are invasive. And like I said, we saw some results, but not as effective as we were hoping for. Some other people that we had seen and heard and read about had received those results. So what if there was an affordable alternative? What if there was another way? Would you be interested? You guys, when I found this technology 3.5 years ago, I walked into a wellness center. I was doing some meditation breath work for a man that owned a wellness center here locally in Sarasota, and didn't know him, met him through a mutual friend, and was asked and said, sure. Something inside of me said yes. God said yes, go, do, follow. I'm like, okay, I'll go. And after I finished doing that for him, I was walking out of his center, and he said, hey, I've got this technology here that's going to activate these master stem cells in your body. Have you ever seen this? And I said, no, but all I need to know is how much it costs. I'll take it right now. If you have something that does that, I'm in, because I understand the power of stem cells to heal. And he said, well, let me show you the metrics on my Whoop. I'm sure you guys have heard of the Oura Ring or the Whoop, or even your Apple Watch will monitor some metrics. So I said, that's fantastic. He showed me his phone, and he thought it was a placebo. And I said, I know it's not a placebo. I understand the body and how it can heal itself. But he promised me that it wasn't. He said he monitored himself for 90 days. This was a tennis pro coach, an athlete. And so he saw the difference in his recovery and in his own anxiety and his sleep and his body's inflammation level. He had all the metrics. And he did a month on, a month off, and a month on, and he was in that 4th month of patching again because he knew it was really working by all these metrics. And I said, well, that's fantastic. Just give it to me. How much is it? And it was $150 retail, and I walked out the door. I said, thank you, bye, and never thought another thing about it, except I went home immediately and put it on Taylor. And the next day, I got a phone call from April Vaughn, who's been a friend of mine for 20 years. And she said, Staci, I found something that's going to help Taylor. And I said, okay, send me the link. I'll order it. I know you. I like you. I trust you. You're into all things holistic. Give me the link. No. You've got to hear this. You've got to hear this. And she starts telling me about how she was having troubles in a wheelchair and all this joint pain and aches. And her inflammatory markers were through the roof. And she was supposed to be in the hospital and just all this stuff. And I said, that's fantastic. I'm so glad you're getting results. What is it? I need it for my daughter. And I said, send me the link right now. And she sent me the link, and I looked at it, and I said, April, I just bought this yesterday. I was like, okay, seas have parted, the world stopped on its axis. This was pure alignment, right? This is divine alignment. And I said, I need this immediately. How do I get this? She goes, we can get it wholesale. And I'm like, fantastic. I'm in. I'm ordering right now. And she said, well, David Schmidt, the inventor of this technology, is actually going to be in your area, about 15 minutes from your house in a few days. You ought to go and hear him. And I said, okay, great, I'll go and hear him. Sure, no problem, whatever. I'll go listen to the inventor of this technology. No clue what I was looking at or what I was going into. But I called my good friend Laura Balzer on here, and I said, girl, I know how into all things holistic and healing you are. You cured yourself 5 years ago from stage 3 breast cancer using all alternative holistic ways of detoxification and boosting your immune system. And so I'm sure you would want to go and hear about how you can really keep your body healthy on the inside. And of course, we went and listened to David that day. And you guys, I'll tell you this. The first 2 hours of his science and technology were mind-blowing. Like, we were like, oh my God, this man's a genius. Over 150 patents. I mean, just so smart, but so down to earth, so humble, so amazing, just a great guy. We're in there in a hotel ballroom with 250 people, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, I'm the youngest person in this room. I was age 47, and they were mostly like 65 to 85. And then after David talked, we had about an hour of personal testimonials, and I'm going to share some pictures with you here in a minute. But those personal testimonials that Laura and I heard, we were literally crying. Like, crying. We were covered in chills, and it was just so powerful. If you have not listened to people's testimonials yet, we have over 5,000 recorded, so I'll pick one, anyone. We listen to them every day. The testimonials we hear every day are mind-blowing from people, and we listen to these for an hour, and she goes, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to tell the world about this. I've been a proponent of stem cells for 20 years. I've taken people to Mexico to get them outside of even my daughter. They're amazing, and these are ours, helping our own body to heal itself. And she goes, well, if you are, I am. I said, yeah, but I'm not doing anything else but just telling people. That's it. And of course, the rest is history, because here we are 3.5 years later, telling people all over the globe about it, right? Because it just makes such a big difference. So maybe you're interested. Let's talk a little bit about David, right? I talked to you just a little bit about him. This is him in his lab, right? But he has, for the last 20 years, we just celebrated, literally on Sunday, the company's 20-year anniversary. He has invented a dozen different patches over the last 20 years. And up to date now, we have over 15 global distribution centers and I think 13 corporate offices globally. Laboratories and manufacturing in California, San Diego, and in Galway, Ireland. We right now have enough patches for $2 billion in sales. That's impacting hundreds and millions and billions of people's lives with this technology. This was created originally over 20 years ago for the Navy SEALs. David invented the first patch called Energy Enhancer. That was a super undercover black ops program he was working on. His company was contracted by the U.S. Department of Defense. So this was never meant to bring the market to the public. But God, right? The divine stepped in. And unfortunately, we had 9/11 here in the U.S. The World Trade Center's bombing went down, and the Department of Defense pulled out. So David started working with Richard Quick, who's a 6-time USA Olympic female athlete gold medalist swim coach at Stanford University. And he spent 2 years doing clinical studies with the athletes. If you're interested in seeing those studies and all of the 90 studies that we have, please get with the person that invited you. They can share with you that information from startx39now.com. But we have all of that research and information there. And David spent 2 years just with Energy Enhancer doing studies to make sure that he had something that he could 100% without a shadow of a doubt prove that this was doing what he said it was doing. A non-transdermal wearable light technology that activates different peptides or different processes in the body. And of course, 2 years later, he started LifeWave, which is why we are now on our 20-year anniversary, because what we have actually works. I was Zooming with someone earlier, and he was talking about athletes and whatnot, and he said, how do we know this is not really putting anything in the body? And he said, well, we have USA and world anti-doping letters. You can find those on our website as well, too. And you don't get those unless you're actually proving that there's nothing going into the body. And of course, that happened with the Olympics back in the early 2000s when we swept the gold medal in the swim division, and they thought we had patches that put something in the body. And so that's how we got the U.S. and the world anti-doping letters. So all of that information's on there. So with X39, we actually have a patented This has a 20-year patent on it, X39. We are 4 years into that patent, this wearable patch technology, which uses specific wavelengths of light to activate these stem cells without injections. So you can see here this going on the back of the neck. You can put it on the back of the neck. You can put it below the belly button. I have mine here. Now this is really important because I literally get this question every day, I think. What patch do you have on your chest? This is the X39, and I put it here so you can see it. It's just for you. It doesn't have to go here. But I recommend you put it here before you leave your house and go out, because other people will ask you, what is that? And you can say, this? Oh, this is my longevity patch, or oh, this got rid of all my neck pain, or oh, this is the thing that's keeping me young and youthful. They're going to want what you have, right? So it uses a wavelength of light. That wavelength of light is very similar in a wavelength of light that would come from the sun that elevates vitamin D, or a wavelength of light that would come from an infrared sauna that would be able to help reduce inflammation or be able to reduce pain or improve cardiovascular system. Or maybe a wavelength of light from a laser, cold laser, blue laser, red laser, or maybe a red light pad on your face or on your body, right, or a red light bed. The difference is we don't need an outside light source. We don't need to go somewhere, do something, use something. We are the power source with this technology. We emit heat, and so this works with our body's heat. That wavelength of light that comes off that patch, it doesn't just help reduce inflammation or help anti-age or help to reduce, inflammation or lines or wrinkles or whatever it may be that the laser or the pads or the sauna is doing. We actually elevate a very specific peptide with this patch. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that, okay? As you look at these pictures, this is not out of the norm. This is very normal from our technology, because what we're doing is we're elevating GHK-Cu copper peptide. And yes, it's most commonly known in the skincare world for that anti-aging component, lines, wrinkles, spots, circles, sagginess, crepiness. GHK is also very commonly known in the wound healing world. When we look at, obviously this little kid got his finger cut off and reattached. This guy fell off of a rafter, and that looks like it really hurt. But you can see just a matter of a couple weeks, and things are changing, right? 8 weeks, 4 months, and things are changing in a short amount of time because we're elevating GHK. And that's a very powerful peptide when you look at cardiovascular benefits and neurological benefits, when you look at the body's ability to be able to heal itself. One of the things, like I said, that it does, of course, is activate and elevate and mobilize those master stem cells, right, that are responsible for repair and regeneration over time. So I want to share with you some more pictures. This is a short-term wound healing. You can see June 6th, 23rd, and June 30th. Big changes after radiation treatment, again, in a short period of time. But let's talk a little bit longer. This is Mandy. Mandy patched for a year. You can see day 1 to day 355. But then look at her again a year later. I mean, she looks like her daughter, right? And that's what happens for those of us that continue to patch. It's not just about the vanity, even though I'll be the first to say I'm all here for that. It's about the anti-aging or reverse aging on the inside. That's what's happening here. That's what's happening to people when the insides of their bodies are becoming younger, youthful, repaired, regenerated, rejuvenated. It's a direct reflection on the outside of us. Same thing with Marcy. This is not a man on that 2019 picture. That's Marcy Preble, and we all know and love Marcy Preble, right? She was stage 4 breast cancer, radiation, chemotherapy, double mastectomy, reconstruction, not living her best life, right? Then comes LifeWave. And of course, look at Marcy now. I mean, she is living her best life. We all had a blast with her in Punta Cana. Everywhere we go, we do, right? Because she is the epitome of health and wellness now, living her best life. Of course, I don't know anyone that wouldn't want to keep their neck young and youthful, right? But let's look at a little bit more seriousness in the neck area. So it's not just about the front of the neck. This is the back of the neck. This is spinal stenosis. This is something that a lot of people deal with when you look at the impingement of the nerves and of the spinal column. This took 18 months. It was not quick. It took 18 months. This is from a chiropractor on our team. But there's a lot of change that happened in 18 months. Can you imagine if this person wasn't patching? You already saw the little boy's finger. Look at this guy here. Look how happy his face looks in that second picture. He's like, yeah, I got some hair back there now. And it's darker. How is that? Did you guys know that gray hair comes from a copper deficiency? X39 elevates GHKCU copper peptide. We always recommend you eat at least 1 square of dark chocolate, a good healthy 70% or higher cacao dark chocolate every day to get your copper. If you don't want to do that, you can eat liver. I just choose not to eat liver. Or you can take a copper supplement, just a couple milligrams a day is all you need. But X39 elevates GHK, it binds to copper in your body. That helps with the hair growth and the hair color obviously changing. And of course, we don't want to forget our furry friends. Dogs, cats, horses, cows, pigs, alpacas, fish, you name it, people have patched them. So pets receive benefits as well too. We take our patch off at the end of the day and we put it on our pet. They have a little bit of benefit after us. So let's talk a little bit about some of the studies. This is one of my favorite clinical studies, and again, you can find this on the Start X39 Now website. But we all only have one brain, and this brain is very important when you look at the benefits of patching. What happens? Session 1, you can see, and this study has lots and lots of people, but you can see there's a pretty, what we call hot brain. This brain has some anxiety, it's not coherent, we don't have the left brain, right brain communicating with itself like it should. By session 2, which was about 3 weeks in, you could see some changes, right? There was some improvements. But session 3 at 6 weeks, pretty significance in the coloration, meaning looking at EEG and brain mapping, looking at a more coherent, calm, balanced brain. GHK is powerful in what it does in the brain for memory, focus, cognition. It helps so much. Nerve regeneration. I spent an entire month last November. You can go back to my YouTube channel. Dr. John Verholst and I spent a month talking about the brain and the patches and all types of neurodegenerative benefits using this technology. We've got some other benefits, of course, more energy, better sleep, able to do things you weren't able to do before. I don't know if I'd ever want to climb 14,000 feet in my life personally. Maybe fly at that level, sure, but I don't know about climbing. But this person was able to do that again after not being able to in 4 years. So if that's your passion, you can definitely get back to that. But you know, something I want to mention here that has to also take place in this, not just the knee, but looking at cardiovascular health. You know, we see in one of our clinical studies, every 6 weeks of patching, your vascular system is functioning 8 weeks younger. Every 6 weeks, that vascular system is functioning 8 weeks younger. That's powerful, especially when you think about climbing to 14,000 feet. I don't know if you've ever went up in elevation, even 5,000 or 6,000, you're like, whoa! You can feel it in your cardiovascular system for sure. So being able to do something like that, the endurance and the stamina that it takes as we are aging, the patches are very powerful for that. And of course, the word got out. I need to update this baby. Did you guys see Mike Tyson's picture this weekend with our patch on? That I'm sure you all know who Mike Tyson is, right? Lots of athletes have patched over the years. We have lots of professional athletes. I'll tell you this, a lot of them don't share though. We've caught these pictures, you can tell in different activities, whether it was Wimbledon or the swimming, whatever, David, Beckham, soccer, whatever it may have been. But a lot of them don't share. A lot of them don't want their patches seen. Can you imagine why? Why would they not want to? It's their secret. It's their upper edge. something that they have that the other players on the field don't have, possibly, most likely, that gives them that upper edge in a way that's safe. And I'll tell you this too from talking to them. If they get injured, and most all of them do at some point in time, they're not happy about the options that they have to recover from that injury. Because what happens is they're needed on the field or on the court or wherever it may be, and they're pumped full a ton of medicines, a lot of pain medicines to get out there on the court, on the field, and go again faster. And they don't get time to recover because they're needed out there. And so they are very happy to have something that if they get injured, and I've worked with some of them that have been injured, that this is a way to help their body heal faster on its own without using pain medicines and anti-inflammatories and other drugs that are harmful to them and they don't like the way they feel. So it's pretty powerful out there. Not just for our athletes, but even for us every day, right? In the gym, doing the things we do. So what if you could be a more younger, youthful you? What if you could have the things that you see over here? Bone, muscle, tissue, neuroregeneration, faster wound healing, greater mental clarity, mental energy. If anything were possible, what's one thing you would choose to experience differently with your health or in the health of someone you love and care for? Because it's not just about you. A lot of times people come to these Zooms and they're thinking about themselves. Like, I have this issue, I have this symptom, this is going on. What can help me? But what about the people in your family that you love and care for? What about the people that depend on you, rely on you? Or what about the people that you just want to spend the rest of your life with and have the best quality of life with? So what you're going to do is you're going to get back with the person that invited you, and they're going to talk to you about one of our 3 wholesale packs that work its best for you. You can see they cost different prices. There's different amounts of patches that you can put in each one of them. They're all customizable. You can put any of the patches together that work best for you and your family, and they'll talk to you about this. I figured out what I want to be when I get older, and that's younger.